Hey everyone, how are you all doing? So it's safe to say that I like to shake it. And when I mean shake it, I mean shake these. The shaker is one of those kind of instruments that's really tricky to get absolutely right when you're recording it. So I guess the first place we should start is with a trusty egg shaker. I always hold it sideways rather than eggways. And basically it's a really similar rhythm to the tambourine. Just make sure that you're kind of using 2 and 4 as your kind of accents. So just keeping the shaking going like this, and then like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And yeah, so that's kind of the basic rhythm, is just trying to go 2, 4. But then you've kind of got like a little bit of a backbeat into that. So it's like 1, 2, 3, and 4, 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4, 1 and 2, 3 and 4. So kind of continuing on from what we're just talking about the egg shaker, whenever I'm playing it as well, I try and imagine the beads inside the shaker and kind of watching them go back and forth. If you imagine like a big shaker like this is kind of a similar thing. This is why I always try and hold it side on, is because you've got to imagine those kind of beads, kind of like a wave, but waving on either side, a bit like a half pipe of the skateboard, but like really quickly. Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm thinking about. So yeah, and then the next thing is if you want to do more like a Brazilian rhythm, which is like a samba kind of rhythm, this is like a different rhythm, so it's like, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And that can be also used within like pop music as well. So let's, and then you can still use that 2 and 4 as well. So like, yeah, so that's kind of the egg shaker in a nutshell, really. Obviously, here's 5 of my favorite ones. I've got a few others as well. I don't want to say how many I've got, but it's a lot. So yeah, I've got a tiny little Rhythm Tech X, which is the highest pitched one. I've got a similar one, Rhythm Tech X, it's slightly lower pitched. I've got this Meinl Egg Shaker, which I really, really like. These are great, just budget egg shaker, always really solid. And with these ones as well, it's quite cool because if you hold them a bit tighter, you can kind of like get it to sound a bit different. This one, I have no idea what it is, but it sounds awesome. And then this one is another one of those Meinl Egg Shakers that broke and some of the beads fell out, but actually it's just a bit of a different sound. Okay, so the next ones I want to show you are these little, they're called Cas Cas Shakers. Okay, I am absolutely terrible at playing these, but they're quite fun. That's pretty much all I can do with them so far. I only just got these recently, so just been kind of messing around with them. They're basically like egg shakers, but tied to a piece of string. Yeah. Obviously, you can't go wrong with some fruit shaker as well. This one's by Tycoon Percussion. It's got kind of an orange kind of sound, I guess. Okay, I'm not really sure how I feel about these Rhythm Tech stickball shakers. Do you know what? I'm going to try and use it in the video at the end of this and just see what happens. So when I kind of bring all the shakers together. But yeah, it seems to work all right. It does really change how the stick feels, and you don't really get much bounce out of it. But we'll see. We'll see what I can do with it. This is probably one of the funnest instruments I've ever bought. It's called an LP cube shaker. And the cool thing about it is you can use it like a normal shaker, and it feels super trippy to play as well. And then what you can do like triplets. It just blows my mind every time I pick it up. Okay, so if you're an avid egg shaker player and you're like, okay, I want to kind of move on from the egg shaker, the best first shaker that you should buy is the Meinl Louie Conte shaker. It has a signature on it, but it's kind of faded off in this one. Again, this one's really, really great. It's very similar. I think it's got very similar beads that an egg shaker has inside, but it's just shaped differently. And it's really good for soft shaking, for that kind of soft pop kind of stuff. Yeah. This next shaker is obviously bright orange. Again, by LP, and you'll see it says written on it loud. I think they do a series of these like quiet, medium, and loud. I bought the loud one. The cool thing about this shaker is it's loud. I still think it's quite dull sounding, but the cool thing you can do is you can take the elastic bands off it and then go into individual shakers. Like, you can do it together if you want that kind of stereo sound. So the next one that I've got is a Rhythm Tech Studio Shaker. And you know what? I actually had one of these and I lost it. So like this is a couple of years ago, and then as soon as I lost it, I was like, I have to rebuy it because I just can't live without it. I use this for a lot of singer-songwriter stuff, especially in situations where you're not mic'd up or you've got maybe like one mic on the cajon or whatever you're using. Because it's quite loud, but you can also play it really gently. So it gives you quite a few options, so you can kind of feel the room and feel people's reactions if they're like that when you're playing it. But yeah, the Rhythm Tech Studio Shaker. Okay. So the next thing, again, these are kind of similar to egg shakers in some ways because they're small. They're rawhide, so they're actually made out of real rawhide, I think. I really want to get some bigger ones of these as well, but I just kind of bought these to kind of try them out. I've used them for quite a long time, again by Meinl. And I guess we can then start talking about the maracas rhythm as well. So when you're playing maracas, again, it's a really, really similar thing to what the egg shaker, but the rhythm that I like to use is just this kind of like 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a... And you can again bring that 2 and 4 in. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And when I'm playing the maracas, Birger Salzbrook gave me this little tip. Just put your thumbs on top rather than like kind of hold them like this. So you can really get them to fight. And actually the cool thing about these in the sunlight is you can see the beads inside of them as well, which is quite cool. So I've got these Rhythm Tech maracas as well. Put a bit of tape on them because I actually cracked one of them and then just matched it up. But yeah, they're really, really nice. They're really good if you've got that kind of like swirly stuff into the rhythm. Okay, these are those classic like maracas that you see in school. You always pick them up and they're quite heavy and you're always like, these are going to be really loud, and then they're just really gentle. Okay, these maracas are a force to be absolutely reckoned with. If you're playing in situations where the mics are really far away, I'd super recommend getting some of these because they always get picked up by anything, even like, you know, acoustically. Also, you're just going to hear them. And there's quite a few things you can do with them. I've done a little bit of kind of jumping into the crowd with these bad boys as well. So yeah, by Meinl. Yeah, and they're really, really great. Just to show you what they sound like. I think these are my favourite shakers to play. My friend Delia originally showed me how to play these. They're called Caxixi. And yeah, the cool thing about these is that they've got like a hard kind of coconut, I think it is coconut actually, on the bottom. And so you can kind of keep them like nice and soft. And then they've got like a way to play like kind of accents. It's going to be quite tricky to notate this rhythm, but I'll try. And just to kind of show you, so when I'm playing these, so I'm kind of going like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, like side, forward. Okay, the next one is just a giant Caxixi. If you've come to any Agbeko gigs, you might see me using this in their song Leaders of the Free World, and it's just like a really, really good for like 2 and 4, that kind of like whoosh. So I'll try and show you that. So it's just such a cool sound, and you can really get that sound out of it. This one I really like. It's got jujinous shells on it, and you can kind of use it as like a rattle. You can also use it as a shaker. see these a lot in classroom percussion as well, and I think these are awesome. So we've got like this Cabasa / Shekere next. It's got like actual little seashells on it. I originally had one of these and then stood on it in a gig, and it just exploded. But the shells remained, and I haven't been able to find one with actual real shells. They're normally just made of plastic. So I re-put the kind of the net onto a different one. Whenever I play these, I always play it on my knee. Speaking of Shekeres, I always wear these sunglasses whenever I use this one because, yeah, they match. So yeah, this again is by Meinl. It's also got my Adbecca sticker on. I really love this one. It's loud. You can stuff some stuff inside it to make it a bit quieter as well. When I'm playing this, again, that similar rhythm, T, tiki, T, tiki, T, you know. So of course, Shekere just means shaker. And so this one is like the biggest shaker that I've got. It's got a big bass sound. Also, generally with this, I don't play it too close to mics because it is literally the loudest thing ever. Yeah, if I'm playing like cowbell and stuff, I use this as like a backbeat to kind of support the drummer or whatever. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to again use the Boss RC505 LoopStation to kind of try and use all the shakers that I've shown you today. Use a bit of the drum kit as well because we've got to try that stick shaker. And just kind of trying to do some shaky stuff really. Thank you very much for watching my YouTube video on the shaker. Yeah, I'm going to do these every week, so I'll be bringing a different thing next week. If you've got any suggestions or anything that you're kind of dying to learn about, please get in touch. Yeah, and cheers. Thank you very much. If you could subscribe to the channel as well, that'd be really, really helpful for me. I'm aiming for 100, so yeah, just like and subscribe. And yeah, get in touch if you have any questions. Cheers. Thank you.